But I think the long-term benefit is to be able to just go with the market, and it's going to work out. It's all going to work out. If you looked at 3 weeks ago, as you know, as we talked about,
we have been listening to the White House coronavirus press briefing. It was slightly delayed. The president came out. He came out with experts. Right now, he's speaking about oil, and we're going to do a fact check on some of the medical claims, and then we may dip back into the briefing, particularly if we hear from other government officials and medical experts. I want to bring in Dr. Peter Hotez, who has been standing by listening to this briefing. I also have Gene Robinson of the Washington Post with me. Dr. Hotez, one of the medical claims that was made, this is held out as a daily briefing to deal with the coronavirus. Other related issues can come up. The president was just speaking about a call he was on with foreign heads of state. But on the virus, the president just claimed the United States has the, quote, best testing in the world. Your response?
Well, yes and no. And if by best he means the largest number of people tested, we're probably getting there. Remember, we have the largest number of reported cases of COVID-19 in the world right now. We're getting up to 500,000 people with COVID-19. So that means we are doing a lot of testing. It's certainly better than it was under the leadership of Brett Giroir, who is Assistant Secretary of Health and someone I've worked with for years in Texas and know him well. So things are clearly better. We also have a greater variety of tests coming from the various commercial firms, and now a rapid test. We're developing an antibody test. So things are better. Here's the problem. The problem is it's still not adequate to manage this epidemic, because in places like Houston, where we are, we're still finding out about this epidemic when patients start showing up in the intensive care unit, which is
well. I think it's important.
So the numbers.
I think. Let me ask you this, sir. What I want to get at, though, to be clear for viewers, is there's the information provided, and then there's the claims made where the president may be playing a more promotional role. And so for people to understand, when you just simply look at the facts of all the countries in the world and those that had the earliest testing, the widest amount of testing, and testing in a way to try to slow the spread of the virus, would you say the United States is number one in that entire allotment or not?
Well, we clearly were not on top of this epidemic like Korea was, which geared up testing right away. And this has been well reported that the U.S. has had a lag. So we are clearly improving, but we still have the situation where I said where we're finding out about this epidemic in your city when patients start showing up in the intensive care unit. And that's not satisfactory. That's not when you want to first find out. So this is what we've seen play out in New Orleans and Detroit. And we're starting to see a bit of that in Houston, especially in cities with large underserved populations where it's hard to do that testing in poor areas. So we've got to figure out a new game plan. And, I've been talking about doing what's called syndromic surveillance, where we do these sentinel areas where we find people having increased frequency of fever and shortness of breath, and use that as a better telltale sign. Here's what's going to happen. I think we eventually will get up to full speed as this epidemic starts to wane in the coming weeks. But then hopefully we'll have it in place in time for if and when this virus returns over the next 2 or 3 years. So that's kind of the situation I think we're going to be see playing out.
Understood. And thank you, Dr. Hey, I'm Ari Melber from MSNBC. You can see more of our videos right here, or better yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel below. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.